Is that our new sponsor? It sounds like it is. Go ahead and get your
Absolutely.
chicken sandwich over there. It's new, $4.99, Buffalo Wild Wings. Everyone go there and get it. Anyway, now that we get sued, let's get on to this tournament draft. Got the copyright infringement, all that out of the way,
Uh-huh.
as we always like to do here.
As per usual. Can't wait to get an actual sponsorship. That will never happen.
The last game, there was a lot going on. There was ranks were everywhere. This one looks a lot more even playing field. To my knowledge, all the players are either silver or gold, maybe a bronze or here and there, but it's basically silver and gold, which is, I think we can both agree, essentially the same elo.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to see what kind of fiesta this low elo piss pit could be.
I'm very excited. We got a Trundle band and a Wukong band, both very strong characters right now. I think very justifiable bands. I'm interested to see if we're going to see the Viego band or the Graves band, some of these stronger picks, the Xin Zhao band, things like that. See the Lulu band probably trying to prevent some sort of hyper carry in the bot lane.
After the last game, it could certainly be reasonable why Viego and Graves would be banned. I'm looking forward to see because I've only seen SGHidden in the support lane and ADC.
Well, these are all these people who signed up picked their respective role. So I would imagine everyone picked their main role, but it's not unlikely to see someone in a role that they're not comfortable with. It's all up to them. As you know, these are just custom matches, nothing on the line. It's just for fun. It's just to learn. It's to, test your skills a little bit against your peers.
For educational purposes. Xin Zhao now being taken out, certainly a powerful early game jungler.
Yeah,
creates a lot of early pressure.
He has floated to the top. He's very buoyant in this meta, and I'm not surprised on seeing that pick. Interesting to see the red side ban the Warwick. It looks like they probably don't want to see that top lane.
We might be seeing our first Aatrox of the customs. I certainly hope so. He is such a joy to watch with all that healing. Will he be picked though? Yes, he will. Aatrox locked in for the top lane. I
really
assume.
Do like that pick as well. He takes up a lot of space. As you said, lots of healing to be a beefy champion. He's sort of an off tank, He does a lot of damage. He disrupts a lot in team fights, and he just dishes out the damage and heals his health bar back to full, almost like an off tank. He definitely takes that role, and he can absorb both of them, and a Scion to counter it. I don't know if that's too much of a counter, but it will be an interesting top lane.
Looking forward to see what would happen if Aatrox could possibly get a lead built up in that top lane, because Aatrox being one of those hyper carry champions. Another Nunu locked in. Will it be yet another one of those AP variants that we have been seeing quite a bit of?
I think it's been shown that the AP variant isn't necessarily the best choice, right? You're Nunu. You roll a big, never-ending snowball. You go into the middle of a team comp. You do all your CC, and you want to live through that, really. You're not really meant to be the damage dealer, which looks like that's what they're doing. They're going to have the tank Nunu variant if they got the Ziggs and the Aatrox to do that damage for him.
Especially seeing AP Nunu more played in the jungle. Jungle slot open for a more.
You might want to check your mic. It sounds like you're being abducted by an alien spaceship.
Alright, I will check that out. Give me just a moment.
Second round of bans coming in here. They're banning the Samira, which is respectable since they have a Ziggs and Nunu. Samira's Wind Wall, I believe, can block the snowball. It can also block all of Ziggs' poke. Fair enough ban for that. I don't know if they're going to be playing Ziggs in the bot lane or the mid lane. Both viable choices. Into the Zed, I think I'd rather see the Ziggs in the mid lane. Just to kind of zone off the Zed. I know he can get back to Ziggs and get to that back line, but I do think Ziggs is in such a strong spot right now that the Zed won't be much of a problem.
Is my mic doing all right now?
seems to be doing just fine. Did you have a good time in that alien spaceship?
It was quite an enjoyable environment, to be honest. Kaisa getting taken out.
Yep, got the Kaisa ban and the Seraphine ban. And now we're getting to our last two picks, and then we're going to get into this game. Hovering Ash.
Ash certainly has risen to the top in the meta, not as much as being a stronger champion, but as her counters getting nerfed.
And she provides so much utility with the clear
Ooh.
sight over the top of the jungle. She can always track that enemy jungle. She can set up plays with her ultimate and with that extra vision that she provides, almost like a support ADC, if you will. But
Possibly another Tryndamere mid.
a Tryndamere mid would be interesting. I'd like to see that, especially into the Zed. Be a great pick. I wonder if blue team was trying to pick that Ziggs to bait them into thinking that was mid lane, and then they're going to flex it to the bot lane.
I sure assume so, because Tryndamere ADC would be an interesting one. Not the strangest thing we've seen, as last game we did have that Kog'Maw jungle.
If that's the case, then blue side definitely showcasing some communication between their team already, even before they get into this game, and they're definitely going to get some points there for communication. I imagine they'll flex that Ziggs bot lane. They'll put the Tryndamere mid. He'll probably go the Gorge Ranker variant, the Gorge Ranker Essence Reaver Tryndamere variant. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that?
The Gorge Rinker variant? No, I don't believe so.
It's sort of a bruiser Tryndamere mid build. There have been various high elo players running that. Basically, essentially, it's a cross between old Wizard Tryndamere, who had a spin on such a low cooldown with the Essence Reaver, and the renewing of that obviously is a cooldown and crit item, one of the few cooldown crit items that you have. And so they put the Essence Reaver on Tryndamere, although he doesn't have mana, right? Because typically you'd run an Essence Reaver if you had a mana champ to refill that mana pool, make sure that every ability you're regaining mana, sort of like a tier build. But he's going to be running it instead. I'd like to see that Gorge Rinker Essence Reaver build, and as you see there, they did swap. A little bit of bait gone with that Ziggs, pressuring the other team, the red side, to pick something that they would deal with a Ziggs mid, but in fact, they're going with Ziggs bot lane.
Now, what I'm interested to see is this Skarner support pick. Certainly is a unique one.
Don't hate on Skarner in these types of games. He is actually incredibly useful.
Yeah, but I'm more adjusted to seeing him in the jungle environment. Seeing him in support could bring up some interesting dynamics. I think it could go well. Now, looking at these two teams, which do you think has the advantage?
That's a very good question. So the type of composition Red Side's running, they do have the Scion, who can engage heavily onto the enemy team, right? He can kind of, you get the Nunu running with the snowball, you're going to have the Scion running back, right? Unstoppable, through the Nunu, straight to the back line, to the mid line, the Aatrox, the Tryndamere, the Ziggs, and Leona, right? But it's sort of interesting having this Scion. He can, I believe the interaction is, if he ultimates and he's unstoppable, he goes through the snowball and he pops that snowball off of Nunu. If he can do that, and if that's in case the interaction, what you're going to have is you're going to have this Scion dive into the back line. You're going to have this Nocturne dive into the back line. You're going to have this Zed dive into the back line. You're going to get the Skarner pulling people out, peeling for his team. And then you're going to have the Ashe in the back of all four of these champions who are doing all this peel, all this engage for her. And she's going to be able to deal all that damage herself. But what the problem you'll see they run into, right? You got this Ziggs, you got this Leona, and you have this Nunu, right? The Ziggs and Leona, the Ziggs is going to be doing similar things to Ashe. He's going to be standing back. He's going to be trying to nuke from a distance. And if the Leona can peel, right? She can peel that Scion, which it's going to be pretty difficult, right? And if the Nunu can lock down this Nocturne, if the Nocturne's able to get back to the Ziggs, then it's going to be more of a frontline fight. It's going to be an all-out brawl. It's going to be a bar fight in the mid lane in this later game, right? If there is some sort of push ARAM thing going around, and if there's no split pushing going on, you're going to have an all-out brawl, 1940s style. And I'm interested to see it. I don't think Ziggs and Ashe are going to be the defining factors in this team comps. I think it's going to be more up to the Aatrox, the Scion, the Nunu, the Nocturne, the Tryndamere, and the Zed.
Certainly the top side of the map seems to be the stronger side. I will be looking forward to seeing how the Aatrox Scion lanes, as I don't think Scion could get that many early kills onto the Aatrox with the Nunu. The early game pressure that Nunu simply generates is just so vast across the map. Who knows, he could just roll in with one big snowball and ruin your day.
Yeah, I think this jungle matchup is going to be one of the main defining factors. If this Tryndamere can get this mid lane shoved, right? Play the mid Tryndamere style. Get the mid lane shoved, roam out, secure a scuttle. Get the mid lane shoved, go invade the jungle. If he can do that thing and spread his presence across the map, more so than a top lane Tryndamere would be able to, then we're going to see a completely different game. However, if the Tryndamere cannot last till level 6, if he gets solo killed by this Zed, if he gets an early gank from the Nocturne, it's going to be a scary game for blue side.
Tryndamere running the Ghost and lethal tempo.
Yeah,
Last Tryndamere mid we've seen.
Is
La-
pretty standard.
Last Tryndamere mid we've seen ran the this, what was it? It was the phase rush. That certainly was an interesting one.
That is the I believe it's Ranger Z who does that variant, the phase rush Tryndamere. Nothing against it. It's not bad. It's just not as strong as the build I've been seeing float on the internet between the Tryndamere mains, between the higher elo Tryndameres of the Bruiser Tryndamere variant.
It seems, judging solely off of runes, that we will be seeing more of a tanky Nunu build rather than the AP that we were used to. I am happy about that.
So. Yeah, I would hope so. That Aftershock is so useful with Nunu, and let's not deny that even a tanky Nunu can do lots of damage.
Mm-hmm. You get that snowball charged up, you land all your CC. You alone will do around like half their health on squishies, let alone everyone else's follow-up.
Very interesting team comms from both. They're sort of both doing the same thing. They want a tanky frontline, but they also want to be able to get the backline very quickly. As we see this Nocturne SGHidden, the caster, the man himself, he is going to be going into the bot lane. They're going to look for an invade, it looks like. They're trying to coordinate something.
30 seconds until
Looks like blue side doesn't seem to be expecting this as Tryndamere walks up into the bush. Leona approaching the bush of death. Will they be able to make it out with anything useful? Almost like they know that they're in there, staying just barely out of range.
Yeah, the guarding going on. I like the guarding. You know, just preventing an invade. And red side decides to let it go. They saw Tryndamere go into that brush. They're just going to let it go. Very safe plays coming out so far.
Mm-hmm.
As we get into this game, who do you have your sights set on, him?
I'm really interested in what's going to be happening with the Nunu. That, like I've said before, the early pressure that the W generates from Nunu could create a lot of pressure onto both side lanes and even mid. It could potentially, no pun intended, snowball a lead in these early lanes.
Agreed, and as the minions meet, the junglers are both starting opposite sides of the map, so they probably won't be meeting each other at any lane anytime soon. The only possibility is that mid lane, and that would be really interesting to see. Now, the Tryndamere gets some big damage onto the Zed early, playing his full Fury lead, and it's a melee matchup, all AD in the mid lane, so that's a pretty interesting composition as well. You'll notice that it's all AD for the side of red team, and it is almost all AD on the side of blue team, with the exception of the Ziggs, I think, rounding out that comp. I think it's a very wise choice to do that.
Don't deny that the Nunu does have that magic damage. So they do have a bit of split damage.
It is slight, but it's not quite as much as a Ziggs is going to put out late.
Mm-hmm. Now it seems like Tryndamere is getting in a bit of trouble with the Zed and Nocturne.
Tryndamere
makes it out.
doing his thing.
Perfectly fine.
He's pushing, roaming, getting a pin on that jungler, getting his team information.
He did get that deep ward in, and somehow made it out with more health than the Zed did. Very worth for him.
The on Tryndamere is just incredible. It's really why the Tryndamere mid lane works so well. There's not a lot of counter picks to it. Within the mid lane mages, you can't really deal enough damage to get through his sustain, and he can destroy mana pools. That's why the Zed pick's actually good into it if he can maintain his health. But bot lane, a lot of poke coming out from Zig, although he has no mana, and looks like this Garner is going to go right in onto him. But meanwhile, there's going to be a flash and ignite coming out from Ashe. The Ashe is not going to be able to get back into this fight. She has such low health, she can't get back into it. That's
very sprawled out fight.
And he's only level 4. Can he get this Ashe? He gets the first blood, 400 gold. Can he get out?
Very nice Ziggs debut, separating them a bit.
Skarner's
be able to pick up something
Tryndamere
else.
Back in, can't get him quite to tower, and Tryndamere's going to get out of there without dying. That is a 1 for 0 in favor of Blue Team.
That certainly was an interesting fight. They got separated early, dealing loads of damage to each other as there is a brawl happening top lane. Will Sion be able to make out of this alive? I don't think so, as Nunu comes in with the world's biggest snowball.
Hits the Sion,
instantly killing him.
Revive coming from Sion, he's going to try to push this wave, and he's going to be punished for overextending a little bit. He has to burn his flash, and he still ends up getting demolished by that Nunu.
Certainly taking a lot of harass from this Tryndamere, not able to push back much more, as Tryndamere's sustain, like you've said before, is quite exemplary.
Yeah, Tryndamere really in a favorable position. He got first blood, he still hasn't backed, and he's able to keep his health so high up that help that Doran shield and his Q. He's able to put so much pressure onto this Zed. Is he going to be able to auto spin out and get a kill on him pretty soon? Just got level 6, or he's going to be at level 6 very soon.
Could be looking for the dive here.
There.
Simple auto E out. That's all it would take.
And he's
there he goes.
And this is the power of the Tryndamere mid. So much sustain, so much kill potential, and ability to roam very quickly. A highly mobile champ.
Nocturne coming down in, could be looking for the flank, but chooses to farm race instead. And it's such as with these bruisery types mid laners, you got the Sed, Lisa, and Viego.
He's looking for this, he reads it perfectly. He's looking for this Nocturne back in his jungle. He's able to get a deep ward, which is going to be cleared instantly, but at the same time, he gets so much vision. And meanwhile, top lane, Aatrox gets a solo kill on the level 5 Sion. That is an all-in by the Aatrox, and he is able to hold his ultimate in the meantime.
Picking up the first dragon of the game, spots out the Leona, and Skarner roaming down.
Yeah, the Leona Nunu flanking onto this.
That's Skarner.
Onto this enemy red team, and it looks like Ashe is going to go down to this Ziggs. That is great for the blue team, exerting so much control over this game so far. They have a 3,000 gold lead almost. 2,500 gold lead on the side of blue, 1 dragon, and so much pressure, only 6 minutes in. This is insane.
This is quite the fiesta that we've had already. 5 kills, 6 minutes into the game. Looking forward to seeing what this Tryndamere is going to be doing with this 2-kill lead. Almost double CSing the Zed. Zed falling behind in this early game will be detrimental to his late game, as if he doesn't snowball, there's not much he will be able to do.
Skarner's looking for a pick onto the Ziggs in the bot lane. They're looking to get back into this game, but meanwhile Nunu says, hey look, I'll peel for my buddy. You're not getting anything here, and nothing will happen between them. It is simply a face-off.
Tryndamere absolutely demolishing that tower, claiming the first plate.
Getting his first plate and really shoving this wave in. Zed is flanking him though. Tryndamere does not see it. Is he going to be able to get out of this? Is Zed going to be able to get this kill or this pick on Tryndamere? He has ult.
Oh, the 4 team.
And Tryndamere is going to run them around the map. Meanwhile, top lane, Aatrox says, oh, Tryndamere missing the spin over the wall. Is he able to get out? He's going to have to pop Ghost and Flash to get out. He may have to pop his ultimate. Can he get out of this? This is going to be huge if they can get the shutdown onto Tryndamere. And Tryndamere has to spin underneath the tower. The Ignite's ticking away, but he's able to get out. Just a sliver of health.
To make it out of that sticky of a situation certainly is impressive. But Tryndamere doing Tryndamere things. He does make it out alive.
He's opting to stay. He knows he has the sustain. He knows that Zed just uses ult, just uses Flash, but he doesn't realize that Zed still has his Ignite.
Aatrox looking to fight this Nocturne. huge damage coming out as Tryndamere also picked up a kill onto the Zed.
The return gank from the Nunu just helping so much. It's exactly what we were saying before. Nunu's ability to provide the utility is just incredible.
3-0 Tryndamere, less than 10 minutes into the game. Certainly will be a joy to watch as he runs around smacking around people with his huge sword.
Now Ash spotted them on the Herald, and now this is also Nocturne spotting him on the Herald. Is he going to attempt to steal this?
Now with Rift Herald, he could land the steal, but will they also be able to pick it up? They do land the steal. The Scion gets it, picking up the Rift Herald as Nocturne. And so will the Scion. Nunu popping R as he attempts to run away. Scion chasing them down.
So Red Team
Making
able to get that
3-0.
steal onto the Rift Herald. That's actually great. That's going to help them pay them dividends as this game goes further. Then the Scion picking up a Bramble Vest to deal with these heavy hitters. The Tryndamere on the other team. That's really who he's buying that for. That and the Aatrox to mitigate that healing, mitigate that damage, that auto attack damage. And you know, they were able to steal it, but they were not able to get out alive. So
At what cost? At what cost?
I don't think it was not worth. I think that was worth it because they have to get something done.
Being 8-0 certainly puts you at a spot that it would be hard to come back from.
Red Team is in the hot seat here. They are down 8 kills, right? They haven't got a single kill onto the map. They're down so much gold in every single lane, in every single facet of this game. They are down, and this Tryndamere going for a dive onto the Zed. He has to blow the ult, but it still isn't enough.
Looking for another gank onto the top side.
Onto the Scion. Scion's going to have to ult out of here. He's unstoppable, which is a benefit, but he's not going to be able to defend this tower. He's not going to be able to use that Herald.
Simply able to just sprint away. At least he gets that empowered recall so he can run back to lane a bit faster. But I think Aatrox might be able to pick up a few plaguings here.
And this Tryndamere just taking control of this mid lane. This is going to be the defining factor in this game. From now on, you are going to have a huge Tryndamere. He has 5 plates solo to his name and first tower.
Maybe not. He might be looking to get that Zed.
He's zoning Zed off. He really doesn't want this Zed to get back to lane. He's trying to make sure every minion possible gets denied.
Outside skirmish going on as Ash seems to pick up a kill onto Leona, but Ziggs returning the favor. Having to flash out of there. Skarner still gets picked up.
Kill onto that Skarner. Beautiful play by the Ziggs. The Zhonya's most of that ignite damage. And now, Nunu, world's biggest snowball. They're trying to pick off this Ash. Can they do it?
That is the Nocturne.
Tryndamere with ultimate, looking for a dive onto this Ash. Can he get it? Meanwhile, Nunu's going to opt for a dragon play, and Tryndamere is able to absorb a red buff damage and able to get that dive. Very clean.
Completely unkillable with that R. Can't be fun to play against a fed Tryndamere. As he simply says no to that.
I think everyone has played against it. We all know how terrifying it feels. Now, it is all up to the Tryndamere to not throw his lead.
Tryndamere, not exactly an easy champion to throw your lead on with that unkillable button. Zed opting out to just farm top lane, trying to get a lead back picked up to him.
Sorry about that, I had a little technical difficulty. The
Yeah,
Scion opting to get a couple plates on the mid lane, but not enough to actually take down the tower. But now, as he roams with this Nocturne, they're going to try to get a shutdown onto this Aatrox.
Huge flank. But that
550
healing is
gold
just
in
so
total.
much on the Aatrox.
He flashes over the wall, and
It's the blast cone, makes it out
Aatrox is going to be able
alive.
to get out of this.
Killing
The healing you get from that R and Gore Drinker
rampage.
is simply too much to handle. Skirmish that we missed bot side, Ziggs and Nunu pick up another kill respectively. Not seem to be going well for the red side. I will be looking forward to seeing what red side opts out to do to pick up what they have lost in the early game. I want to see how they will pick up from this. Excuse me. Try to get a lead back in their favor. Skarner alting the Ziggs under tower.
Able to get this Ziggs pulled under, and that is a shutdown straight to this Ashe. And are they
The
gonna be able to
Skarner
pick up
support
Leona?
kit.
Leona, it looks like she's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and she is going to get decimated by the Ashe damage.
A double kill and shutdown picked up to the Ashe. Will that be enough to carry them back into the game? I don't think so. Aatrox harassing that poor Scion under tower. Nocturne the ult onto the Tryndamere, but he is simply just ignoring him for the tower as he fights, killing the Nocturne and the Zed.
So much damage from this Kraken Slayer Tryndamere. He is fully first item. He has tier 2 boots. He's 7-0. He has everything he needs. And he's just going to simply dance around the Scion. Able to get a double kill and a mid tower, tier 2. What else is this Tryndamere going to do? He's going to run this map so far.
6,000 gold lead on the Tryndamere mid. An 11,000 gold lead team-wise. Ziggs Leona pick up their first tower. Still not able to one-shot that backline with the Q. Once that Ziggs is able to, his pushing power just simply skyrockets. Nocturne looking to fight out the Ziggs. Ashe, arrow goes wide.
Here goes out on the Ziggs, and Scion meanwhile comes to flank this.
Leona stun
Wow,
locking.
that does not look good for the Ziggs Leona. They again die to the red team collapse.
Red team simply too organized for them to get any picks onto their teammates.
You know, they're investing on collapsing on this bot lane, but they really need to invest on collapsing on this Tryndamere and stop him from taking everything he wants. Look at him. He's just farming the jungle as if he's a jungler. He's saying, listen, if you want any of your camps, Nocturne, you're going to have to fight me. And you know he doesn't want to fight him alone.
Ashe and Skarner spot him out, trying to land a little bit of pug, but I don't think it will really do much onto him. Simply just a waste of mana, and you can press Q, regen it all back up. In all fairness, what can they really do to this monster of a Tryndamere in their jungle? Walking around, hitting everything he can.
Playing the vision. They don't know where he is. Ashe trying to find him, and she gets demolished. Incinerated almost by him. He's going to go ahead and incinerate that Nocturne as well. This is the Tryndamere we all have been waiting to see, the 1v5, and he's going to step out after blowing that ultimate. He's not trying to die again. A lot of faking going on. Blue team collapsing back onto this red team. Is red team overextended in their own jungle even? And it looks like IaiZazn is legendary. He's got another double kill under his belt. That's an 11-0 Tryndamere. He can basically take their whole base alone. He can go where he wants. Incredible.
You really think Mundo can go where he is able to melt through their structures with ease? Simply a click of a button and all of their structures.
Going to be a sub 20-minute game, the first one of the series, of the first of all these customs. And this will be the first one sub 20 minutes, all due to this mid lane pick. Absolutely amazing.
Nocturne simply disappearing, but Ashe does pick up a kill on turning it onto the Skarner, but Nunu getting a bit too deep to the Scion.
And red team's able to pick off this 12-1 Tryndamere. He's traded out with a kill, but you know what? He's still worth 1,000 gold for a kill.
I do have respect to this red side for not giving up just yet. They do see that they are getting kills, so there is a small chance that they could win this. As blue team picking up the third dragon.
They did lose the first inhibitor, and red team having a hard time getting any damage on blue side's towers at all.
Sprinting in with the world's biggest snowball. He was not able to get there in time to help his team for the dragon. Do they choose to fight or do they choose to stay? Seems like they are leaving, taking their dragon with them.
1 minute, 30 seconds till this next Baron. Is blue team going to opt to try to get a Baron and close the game out there at 20 minutes, or are they going to try to end it before?
I think, they simply could just run in and force a fight. That Tryndamere could just absolutely devastate them now that his ult is back up. With Aatrox, Nunu, and Leona locking people down with CC. Like, all you really need to do is get that Ashe out of the way.
Looks like
You're
they're going to
good as
play a more
gold.
methodical game. He's getting some vision down around this Baron, waiting for the 20-minute Baron play. 1 more minute till Baron. They know this is going to be the defining play of the game. If they can win, Leona goes in with the stun. She's able to get a lot going on. The frames are dropping.
Frames are dropping.
Nocturne goes down to the Nunu chop.
This Tryndamere being an absolute monster in these games.
He is the highest level in the room by up to 5 levels. He's 5 levels ahead of the Skarner, 4 levels respectively, again ahead of the highest level on red side's team. Can a level 14 Tryndamere just push the end? 1 Nexus turret to go.
Ashe popping heal just out of pure fear for the Tryndamere's power. As Tryndamere getting dangerously low against them.
He's drawing a lot of pressure as this team rotates to this Baron, and Tryndamere is going to die, but I don't think that's a bad play. I think what he was doing was drawing them away. So this is an uncontested Baron going to the side of blue.
I do think that he could have used his ult. Is not that long of a cooldown. He could have drawn a bit more attention to himself and not fork over that death. Blue team does pick up the Baron though. Whole team opting out for just a recall.
Tryndamere dying 2 times. That's 2,000 gold to his killers. You know, there is a double-edged sword. When you get this far ahead, you could be 12-0, but you're worth 1,000. You're not only worth 1,000, you're worth another 1,000 when you die. So we'll see if that gold, little gold injection that went to the red team, can be utilized.
Has been the Ashe who's been picking up the most of these shutdowns. Oh, excuse me. So could
Red team
Ashe carry
gonna
their
have-
team?
Red team really gonna have to defend this siege. There is a Baron siege. You've got a Ziggs who's in the mid game. You've got everything. You've got this Tryndamere who's in the mid game, and he's massive. Can they defend this siege on red team's side? We'll see. If they can defend the siege, get a pick or two. Well, probably not anymore. Not with the Zed dying. Looks like blue team's just gonna straight up go for the end with these Baron and buff empowered minions.
Closing out the game, I'm sad that we didn't see that first sub 20 minute end. As the final team fight happens, red team all dropping into the hands of the Tryndamere and the Nunu. Even
And
Leona
that-
picking up the first kill of the
Like,
game.
Let's go.
1,600 gold or 6,000. Yeah. Wow. What a gold lead. 16,000 gold lead.
GG.